and sometimes in lessons my mind would drift, and I would imagine that on the way home a terrorist might jump out and shoot me on those steps. I wondered what I would do. Maybe I would take off my shoes and hit him, but then I would think, if I did that, there would be no difference between me and a terrorist. It would be better to plead. Okay, shoot me, but first listen to me. What you are doing is wrong. I'm not against you. I just want every girl to go to school. I wasn't scared, but I had started making sure the gate was locked at night and asking God what happens when you die. I told my best friend Muniba everything. We'd lived on the same street when we were little and been friends since birth. And we shared everything. Justin Bieber songs and Twilight movies, the best face lightening creams. Her dream was to be a fashion designer, although she knew her family would never agree to it. So she told everyone she wanted to be a doctor. It's hard for girls in our society to be anything other than teachers or doctors if they can work at all. I was different. I never hid my desire when I changed from wanting to be a doctor to wanting to be an inventor or a politician. Muniba always knew if something was wrong. Don't worry, I told her. The Taliban have never come for a small girl. When our bus was called, we ran down the steps. The other girls all covered their heads before emerging from the door and climbing up into the back. The bus was actually what we call a Dyna, a white Toyota Town Ace truck with 3 parallel benches, one along either side and one in the middle. It was crammed with 20 girls and 3 teachers. I was sitting on the left between Muniba and a girl from the year below called Shazia Ramzan, with our exam folders cradled in our arms. After that, it is all a bit hazy. I remember that inside the diner was hot and sticky. The cooler days were late coming, and only the faraway mountains of the Hindu Kush had a frosting of snow. The back where we sat had no windows, just thick plastic sheeting at the sides, which flapped and was too yellowed and dusty to see through. All we could see was a little stamp of open sky out of the bag and glimpses of the sun. At that time of day, a yellow orb floating in the dust that streamed over everything. I remember that the bus turned right off the main road at the army checkpoint, as always, and rounded the corner past the deserted cricket ground. I don't remember anymore. In my dreams about the shooting, my father is also in the bus, and he is shot with me. And then there are men everywhere, and I'm searching for my father. In reality, what happened was we suddenly stopped. On our left was the tomb of Sher Muhammad Khan, the finance minister of the first ruler of Swat, all overgrown with grass, and on our right, the snack factory. We must have been less than 200 meters from the checkpoint. We couldn't see in front, but a young man with a goatee beard in light-colored clothes had stepped into the road and waved the van down. "Is this the Khushal school bus?" he asked our driver. Usman Baijan thought this was a stupid question as the name was painted on the side. "Yes," he said. "I need information about some children," said the man. "You should go to the office," said Usman Baijan. As he was speaking, another young man in white approached the back of the van. "Look, it's one of those journalists coming to ask for an interview," said Muniba. Since I had started speaking at events with my father to campaign for girls' education and against those like the Taliban who want to hide us away, journalists often came, even foreigners, though not like this in the road. The man was wearing a peaked cap. He looked like a college student. Then he swung himself onto the tailboard at the back and leaned in right over us. "Who is Malala?" he demanded. No one said anything, but several of the girls looked at me. I was the only girl with my face not covered. That is when he lifted up a black pistol. I later learned it was a Colt 45. Some of the girls screamed. Muniba tells me I squeezed her hand. My friends say he fired 3 shots, one after another. The first went through my left eye socket and embedded under my left shoulder. I slumped forward onto Muniba, blood coming from my left ear. So the other 2 bullets hit the girls next to me. One bullet went into Shazia's left hand. The third went through her left shoulder and into the upper right arm of Kainat Riaz. My friends later told me that the gunman's hand was shaking as he fired. By the time we got to the hospital, my long hair and Muniba's lap were full of blood. Who is Malala? I am Malala, and this is my story. Part